here, Space Rangers. Listen up. Zurg is using the stolen battery cells to energize his secret weapon. Our mission is to find his robot and his secret weapon and blast them. To infinity and beyond.
Disneyland's version of the ride is called Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, or BLAB, by Disney aficionados. Like the Magic Kingdom also uses infrastructure from previous attractions, the space the ride takes up was first occupied by the Circle Vision 360 Theater. The space was transformed in 1997 when Tomorrowland was named a makeover, and the Circle Vision Theater became part of the queue line for the infamous Rocket Rods. The Rocket Rods were prone to breakdowns and ran from 1988 to 2000. After closing, the queue line stood empty for several years until Astro Blasters opened in 2005.
Hello, my name is Lincoln Shaw. Welcome to Long Story. Today's historical overview context of Disneyland rides, we talk about Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. Thank you for coming. Let's get into it. You backed yourself into a wall worth fighting for, a wall worth creeping into and not necessarily exploring, but being in defensive mode more so. But the thing is, when you're in that wall, when you're up against the wall, who's there to fight for you? Who's there to fight with you? Who's there to be your protector in all cases? And who are you willing to protect in that case as well? So imagine yourself against that wall. Imagine yourself against that precipice wall, and imagine you having defenseless motives even still, against an aggressor that keeps aggressing and being aggressive even more so. That one friend. The thing is, when you're backed into a wall, backed into a corner, what do? Do you just let it happen, or do you fight it off? Or is someone coming to your way to help you out? See, the thing is with Astro Blasters, it can be a team thing, or it can be a you thing. And that's the thing about this ride that is most definitely in the scape of Worldview. How are you helping yourself versus how are you helping other people? And that's something that's indefinite in the case that we bring up, because a lot of people are for themselves. I mean, look at the news today. We have an almost breakout of World War III. Based on the Americas, based on Iran, based on China, we have a big problem going on right now. But nonetheless, there should be no arguing about this, because at the end of the day, what is happening is based on what we see. Can we just really ignore this? Now we're going to backtrack to Buzz Lightyear. If you're on the ride, if you're a kid, and your kid is riding and you're the adult, do you just let the kid lose? No, you help him out. You make him think he's going to win, and then you just let it happen. That's what we do to kids. It's the same thing with video games. We don't go too hard on the kid. We let him win sometimes. You know what I mean? Otherwise, he's going to cry to mom. But in this case, he's going to cry it out on the ride. We don't want that. And another example, probably a better example in that case, is what would it be like if you were on the ride yourself? How would you better yourself every single time? How would you get a better score every single time if you're in by yourself? If you're in by yourself, you're going for the best score. If you're riding with your girlfriend, it's the same thing. What would you do to beat her, and what would you do to help her? I mean, you could still be the one controlling the game. You could still be the one fighting for where you're right to get what you want to get in the game. But what pointers and tips would you give other people in spite of the game, in spite of the ride, so they can do well too? Thing is, with this ride, is it dispels everything we know about teamwork and what that could mean at the end of the day. And it's important to know who the right person to blame is. Not necessarily blame, but give the consequence to. And that, in this case, is the evil Emperor Zurg. But who is it in this everyday world? Who do we have to fight against, and, well, not necessarily fight against, make peace against, if that's even a thing, in order to have a more fulfilling and optimal life? See, the thing is, that goes into detail with what we're trying to talk about. The little nooks and crannies that make it so. Let's go into detail. Okay, so Disney as a whole has a message towards everything they give to people on a daily basis. Whether you're believing in yourself, whether you're believing in other people, whether you're helping other people, whether you're helping yourself, whether you're trying to make sure everything in your life goes well. Make sure that you know that it's time to take some steps in order to get to the place you want to be. And Buzz Lightyear Astro Blaster shows that in a very minuscule point. What is the eye-opening thing that you can take away from Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters? And how can we relate that even to ourselves? But before we talk about that, what are the main things that make Astro Blasters a ride to ride almost every single time, more than just being a competition? See, the thing is, you're fighting against a legion while being a part of a legion. That's something that's indefinite in today's world. Our troops go out there and fight the enemy, while the enemy fights us. They have two different legions against each other, fighting for a belief system, and fighting for a political system, as well fighting for an economic system. So when you think about all this in general, there's one thing that you can take away from Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, and it's this, okay? Listen up. If you believe in yourself, if you believe what you want to believe, and if you believe that what you are standing for is the most moral part you can stand for, then why not fight for it? Not necessarily with guns and knives, but with peace. How can we fight to get peace? Because honestly, this ride goes on and on and on and on. But life is not necessarily like that Groundhog Day effect. Sometimes we have changes. Some things change for the better. Some things change for the worse. Some things just change to change. And what this ride shows us is we don't have to be like that. We don't have to be in a groundhog state. We can make changes. We can make do with everything we have. We can get that girl. We can get that guy. We can get that award. We can get that car. We can get what we want. We can also get that peace. If you believe in yourself to do it, and if you believe in the hard work to do it as well, then you're going to make something great about yourself. And at the end of the day, it's really you against the world. But doesn't it make sense to have a friend in that sense? See, the thing is, what does it mean to be co-oping? To work on a team basis. Application, of course. We should be able to work on a team basis. And the thing is, when we work as a team, whether you believe it or not, whether you're the American flag or the Confederacy, we all need to believe one day we can be one in union. And that union that we make ourselves is something that can go against every country that decides to take advantage of other countries. And that goes way beyond the presidency. That goes way beyond any presidency around the world. That goes way beyond the political moves of the president's cabinet, whether it be Republican or Democrat. It's something that we can fight together. Why don't we fight together, despite our differences? Yeah, you may believe one thing, and I may believe another thing, but we're all fighting for the same country. So why don't we fight for the same country together? And I'm not trying to make this political. I'm not trying to make this any more political than it has to be. But at the end of the day, this ride just shows that if you work together, your team and your score will go higher. Thank you for my application. Let's continue forward. Thank you for coming along the story. Thank you for coming to the historical world for context of Disneyland rides. There are more rides in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys help me get there by hitting the share, like, and subscribe button right on the screen. Leave a comment if you can, too, and consider my Patreon if you can. Thank you again, and peace.